Hello, I'm Dolores Rauscher. I'm an instructor of writing in higher education, and I'm going to show you ways that you can facilitate reading analysis and comprehension in a writing classroom. The following presentation covers Jigsaw 1 and 2. The methods presented here are designed to meet these goals for students. The student will read for the purposes of reflection, critical analysis, decision-making, and inquiry. The student will read in ways that improve writing, especially by demonstrating an ability to analyze invention, arrangement, and revision strategies at work in a variety of texts. The student will demonstrate an understanding of reading as an epistemic and recursive meaning-making process. And the student will understand that academic disciplines and fields employed varied genre, styles, and syntactical patterns, uses of evidence and documentation practices that call for a variety of reading strategies. A good online source for a variety of uses for Jigsaw is at CERC at Carleton College. The Science Education Resource Center from Carleton College, Northfield, Minnesota, offers helpful information and suggestions for using Jigsaw in a variety of learning situations. Type in CERC, Carleton College, into your browser search window, and you are sure to find it. Jigsaw was first developed in 1971. Elliot Aronson developed Jigsaw as a cooperative learning tool to promote interaction and trust in desegregated schools. Later, in 1986, Robert Slavin adapted the Jigsaw method and termed his design Jigsaw 2, using it as a tool for sharing reading and related concepts. Jigsaw has been adapted into a variety of classroom situations, from classroom to field, from elementary to graduate. Studies have shown that students who engage in cooperative learning techniques such as Jigsaw develop reasoning and critical thinking skills, develop a deeper understanding and recall of course material, develop higher order comprehension and reading skills. And in this particular case, Jigsaw 2, or English for Second Language Learners, were tested. And students work together and interact more readily, and they are more willing to ask instructors questions. Another thing about Jigsaw is that it can be used for a variety of reading texts, from reading anthologies to classroom text to handbooks. The differences between Jigsaw 1 and Jigsaw 2 are higher order differences. Jigsaw 1 may be better for second language readers and writers of English. It focuses on understanding and comprehension, and each student reads and becomes an expert on one section of a reading assignment. Jigsaw 2 may be best for experienced readers and writers of English. Each student reads the entire assignment and becomes an expert on one aspect of the reading assignment. For both Jigsaw 1 and 2, you assign the reading. You may want to assign it as homework, or in classes of, say, international students, it may be better to read during class. In each case, you divide the class into 6 groups of 4 students. If there are 5 to a group, there will be 2 students assigned to the same topic. I'm now going to talk about things specific to Jigsaw 1. Then I will move on to discuss things specific to Jigsaw 2. To begin the Jigsaw 1 activity, assign the reading for the homework to give students time to find words or phrases that may be difficult for them to comprehend. One of the assignments in my class is to read the selection Mother Tongue, written by Amy Tan, and I'm using it here as an illustration of how to create a lesson using Jigsaw 1. You'll see that I have broken down the reading into 4 sections, and I have given page numbers to correspond. I tried to find sections that broke evenly so that the amount and the difficulty of the reading would be equal for each person in that group. For Jigsaw 1, form 6 reading groups of 4 members each. Compose the list of questions as I have just shown you in slide 11 for the students to answer during the jigsaw activity. Also prior to class, I created questions which correspond to each of the sections of the reading. Here I have composed 4 groups of questions, one for each reader in the group. Note that the questions do not presuppose any prior knowledge of any previous section of the assigned reading selections. In other words, they are designed to depend on only the information covered in a particular section that each student is to read. They require comprehension skills. I usually include one analysis question, but again, the analysis question is dependent upon the information in that particular section of the reading. Not all reading sections lend themselves to creating a higher order question. Here, I'm showing you the 4 final questions that I composed for the first group or first section. I begin with such questions as, who is Amy Tan? And then, by the third question, I ask the student to give an example of Tan's way of speaking English. Number 4, in your own words, tell the story that Du Yu Song tells to Amy Tan's mother. Number 5, does Tan's mother understand English very well? How do you know? Number 6, think about what you've read. Based on your reading so far, try to say why Tan is writing about her mother. The instructor should give an overview of the reading, telling the topics and main points of a summary of events to facilitate student understanding. You may want to give a section-by-section short synopsis corresponding to the reading sections, saying, for instance, this reading is about Amy Tan's realizations concerning her mother's influence on her English-speaking abilities. Each overview should be brief, but give the reader some idea of what they will be reading while helping to connect the sections. Giving an overview is particularly important if the assigned reading has no specified divisions. With jigsaws, we have 2 sets of groups. Each group in the first set is composed of 4 readers, like this one, and each of the 4 readers will be reading one of the 4 sections of the assigned reading. I find it best to let students have silent reading time first for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then to hand out the prepared list of questions. The students will then work through their assigned section and answer the questions. Expert groups are formed. After the students have read and answered the questions, new groups are formed. Each group member will move to a group that has all the members that have read and answered the same section questions as he or she has just read and answered. These are called the expert groups, such that the students who read section 1 will meet in one group. The students who read section 2 will meet with the other students who have read section 2, and so on. If the numbers have worked out evenly, you'll have 4 groups of 6 students. The members then share information discussing first what the section is about and then going through each of the answers that they have for their questions. Members may then want to add to and clarify their answers as they learn information from other members that they may not have included. After sharing in these expert groups, the students move back to their original groups of 4 and share the information, going through the reading selection from the beginning to the end. Each expert will share the information and the answers to the questions with the other members of the group. It's good practice to give some kind of assessment after this activity. I usually ask a broad question about the reading that the student can write out the answer to in, a couple of sentences or sometimes a short paragraph. For this selection, I might ask, what are the assumptions that Amy Tan hopes to make her readers aware of concerning culture, language, and intelligence? Now let's take a look at Jigsaw 2. Jigsaw 2 works much the same way as Jigsaw 1. but readers move more quickly through the reading because they come to class with a more thorough understanding of the piece. This activity presupposes a higher level of reading comprehension. For this activity, I am going to use the selection The Rhetoric of Celebrity Cookbooks by Christine Mitchell. Again, I assign the reading. I divide the class into 6 groups of 4. If there are 5 to a group, there will be 2 students assigned to the same topic. Students are to read the assignment prior to coming to class. Once in class, just as in Jigsaw 1, students are divided into groups of 4 students each. I usually give the students 5 to 10 minutes to skim over the reading before they begin to answer the questions. The instructor then gives the students the sheet of questions she has composed prior to class. As with Jigsaw 1, students in each group answer the questions that correspond to the particular reading section they are assigned. Here are the expert questions I composed for Section 1 and 2 of Celebrity Cookbooks. Note that they tend to be more focused on analysis of how a piece of writing is put together by the author, such as invention, strategies, purpose, arrangement, theme, and so on. Experts 1, for instance, are asked who is the writer or author of this writing and what are his or her credentials. How do you know? Who is the intended audience of this piece of writing? How do you know? Experts 2 will answer these questions. Summarize the main points of the article. What is the purpose of the article? Why did the author write it? What did he or she hope to accomplish? What seems to be the writing's main theme or thesis? Experts 3. Identify the invention strategies that the writer may have used. How is the piece arranged? Why are these effective strategies for this piece of writing? Or why not? And experts 4 will be answering, identify the style the writer is using. Give examples to justify your answers. On what source does the writer rely to support his or her claims or to inform his or her readers? Give examples. When the students finish answering those questions, I have them join the students who read the same sections and answered the same questions as they. In other words, like Jigsaw 1, the students form 4 groups of 6 experts. They proceed as in Jigsaw 1, having each member of the group share their answer. Then you regroup the students into the original 4 groups. Each expert for the section teaches the section to the group and shares the answers to his or her questions, beginning, of course, with the reading sections and the first set of questions. Finally, like in Jigsaw 1, give an assessment. I usually ask a general analysis question that can be answered in a short paragraph. As with any group work, it is important that the instructor closely monitor the groups and give direction when it's needed. Be an engaged instructor. This concludes this presentation for using Jigsaw for reading and writing classes. Here is a group of the sources for this particular presentation. I have included the abstracts.